I think last time waxaan ka hadalnay the simple present term, using the simple present. We talked about forms and basic meaning of the simple present tense. We also talked about using frequency adverbs, always, usually, often. Then we talked about other frequency expressions. We also talked about using frequency adverbs with be, spelling and pronunciation with final es, adding final es to words that end in y. So for tonight, we are going to tackle about the irregular singular verbs. Irregular means, well, I don't know what does the word irregular mean. In a certain term, irregular, we have regular verbs and irregular verbs. So already regular verbs also aragnay, although it was not directly related with irregular verbs. Now we are going to see the irregular verbs, has, does, and goes. And let us tackle the irregular verbs as it is. So, irregular singular verbs, has, does, and goes. For example, the man has a brown coat. The man you see in the photo has what? A brown coat. The man has a brown coat. Ninkani wuxuu sitaa ama uu wataa ama gashan yahay koor brown ama qahwi ah. Okay. Now let us construct a sentence using have and has. We talked about have in our past lessons. Now let us see how have and has relate in the irregular singular verbs. I have a hat. I have a hat. Hat waa koofida yani qofka uu gashto ninka ragga ama qofka dumarka ah waa a hat. We have two types of koofiyada laba nooc leeyihiin. We have a cape, we have a hat, we have a cowboy. It depends on the design that that person uses. So I aniga have a hat. So I have used the word have. Okay, using has now, I say she has a hat. She. So here marka waxaan arkaynaa horena aan usoo marnay adigoona ilaaweynin ereyga I first person pronoun inuu qaato what? It takes what? It takes have. Pluralkeeda, although hadaan ka hadlayna singular lakin plural ahaana u galno. Maxaan dhihi karnaa I have hadaan eri of first person pronoun. Pluralkeeda wuxuu noqonayaa we have. We have. Markay badan yihiin waxaan dhahaynaa markaan we. You wuxuu noqonayaa in the second person pronoun you have. Laakiin mar hadday noqoto has inaan isticmaalo in the first person singular, she, he, it ay waxay qaataan has. Laakiin markay plural noqdaan ay waxay qaadanayaan they. Okay, let us see. Here we have she, he, it. Waxay qaataan has. Laakiin in the plural term ay waxay qaadanayaan have. I do exercise. I do. So the first person pronoun waxaan leeyahay I do. Aniga waxaan sameeyaa exercise. I do exercises. It is multiple. Waa exercise badan. It is different types or sorts of exercises put together ma la isku keenay. Exercise dhowr nooc ah. Haddii laakiin hal xab uu yahay jumlada singular usoo qaadan kara I can say I do an exercise. What is hal markuu yahay. But for now I say I do exercises. Hore usoo qaadanay why we add s pluralkeeda an anaga bixinayno articles so forth and so on. Here now I say he does. So which means the first person pronoun I do, we do, they. So he, she, it. Hadii in the place of have a has qaateen. Now he, she, it maxay qaadanayaan does. Okay. He does, she does, it does. We go to gym. We go to the gym. We waa badannahay. Laakiin I go to the gym waan dhihi karaa. Plural waan dhihi karaa. They go to the gym. So here we have the word he, she, it. Oo inta badan qaadanayo goes. She goes, he goes, it goes. He goes to the gym, she goes to the gym, it goes well. Like that. Okay. So here the irregular forms, markaad fiiriso, sorry, waan ku feegaaray. Irregular forms have changes to has. Does, do changes to does. Go changes to goes. I have, she has. He has, they have. Okay, let's practice and say and see if at least we have captured something small. Here you have two answers. You have do and does. George does yoga every day. George now wa he, isn't it? George is he. So he what? He does yoga every day. Zuli dash for a walk on Sunday. Zuli, can we say she's she? So Zuli, she goes for a walk on Sunday. Zuli goes for a walk on Sunday. We have and has. She always has homework. She always has homework. Okay, let us see now the spelling and pronunciation of final S and ES. She runs 6 miles every day. She runs 6 miles every day. Here now we have the spelling and we have the pronunciation. If you go back to our previous lesson, you will find out that you are using S and ES in the places where some words end in X, S, CH, and C. So now here we are going to see words and their pronunciation. The spelling, how do you spell? A letter by letter. And the pronunciation, how you pronounce that word or how you are going to speak out and say or utter the meaning, the accent of the word. Here we have the word run. How do I spell the word run? I say R-U-N. How will I pronounce run? Then here we added S. In which rule? Let's see. We are going to see it, the rules before I finish up. We have rain, rains. Scrub, scrubs. Love, loves. So S as Z. So always now if the word run, the spelling or how we are going to pronounce it will be different. For example, I write as run, R-U-N-S. It is singular. I make it plural and it becomes runs. S as S-Z, which means the S, those words which are written in red, those letters which are written in red are all what? Are all pronounced as Z. They are voiced as Z. Rains, scrubs, loves. So in the third person singular, add S. Third person singular, add what? S. Sink, sinks. Meet, meets. Fight, fights. Court, courts. Here now what you see is now different. The S here is pronounced as S, but it is what we know as voiceless. Sing, sings. Meet, meets. Fight, fights. Cough, coughs. So it is voiceless. You utter the S straight, but it is pronounced as voiceless since it is not taken, or the S is not pronounced as Z. So in the third person singular, it adds S. Okay, let's see another word. Those are the words that end in S. So let us see about the words that end in what? ES. Let me change the color. So push, pushes. So if a word ends in SH or X or S or CH like that, it ends in ES, but it is pronounced as what? It's pronounced as EZ. Let's see. Push, pushes. Watch, watches. Miss, misses. Tax, taxes. SH, CH, SS, and X. All those words, they add up ES to make its pronunciation sound like EZ. Fine. So xaraf walba oo ku dhamaanaya SH, CH, SS ama X wuxuu qaadanayaa ES asagoo jumlada marka ayada plural ka sameynaya, laakiin dhawaaqa ES ta raacaya ayaa waxay u dhawaaqsamayaan qaab EZ ama is ah. For example, pushes, watches, misses, taxes, kisses, like that, or teaches even. The third person singular, add ES. So in the third person singular, you add ES. So the other lessons we talked about words that end in Y. So if a word ends in letter Y, the rule number one that we are going to check is what? If the letter before the Y is either consonant or plural. And we said if it ends in a consonant, you remove Y and you add IES. But if it ends, the word before the Y ends in what you call a vowel, you add S straight. For example, here R is a consonant, so the word becomes dries in its plural term. You omit Y, you add IES. Study, studies. So consonant plus a Y, that's what we said. If you have a consonant R followed by a Y, you read it as EZ because you omit Y. That's why we are not going to mention it more because we talked about it. So consonant ka hadii Y ku xigo oo Y da consonant uu ka dambeeyo ereyga ayada I Y da I u bedelmaysa ES ku daraysa automatically, laakiin waxay u dhawaaqmaysaa EZ. So for the third person singular, you change what ku bedelaysa Y to I, you change Y to I and add what? ES. So it sounds like EZ. Okay, that was a word that ends in Y before, I mean a consonant before the Y. So let us see now a vowel before the Y. Pay, pays. You add S straight. Buy, buy. So the vowel plus Y will sound as Z. Pay, pays. Buy, buy. So the third person singular, you add S. Have, has. Go, goes. Do, does. So the sound now, the way you pronounce is what? Is it? Have, has. Go, goes. Do, does. Okay? So have, has. Go, goes. Do, does. So in the third person singular form, irregular. So the third person singular form were irregular. So irregular waa kuwan. Plural, SEI is min laguma daro. So what does the word irregular Me now. That's what I asked the other time. So an irregular verb means it's a verb that does not follow the normal pattern of inflection. يعني normal pattern كي مرك أيضا لو ترجله ما قادنايو. Okay. Let's continue. Let's practice a little bit and see if we have understood about the regular and the irregular verbs. Mark dashed his bike up the hill every afternoon. So Mark, he. Here we have the word push. So if Mark is he and we have the word push, here the word push and with what? SH. So obvious you add what? ES to make it what? To make it sound ES. So Mark pushes his bike up the hill every afternoon. Mike pushes his bike up the hill every afternoon. Here we have the word brush. The child brush his teeth every morning. So this child anugan so he brushes. SH with ES sounds now brushes. The child brushes his teeth every morning. Here we have dream. Dream. Brenda often dash about her old home. So Brenda is a lady. mar walba ama mar kasta waxay aad ugu riyotaa about her old home gurigeedii hore ee duug ahaa. So Brenda often dream. So dream is an irregular verb. So you add what? S. Dreams about her old homes. Okay, the simple present in negative form. The simple present in negative form. So we are going to tackle about do not or what. So they do not wash their car. If we now tackle the first sentence, we say, I do not drink milk. I do not drink milk. I. So first person pronoun was singular. I do not drink milk was singular. Plural كده محن قناة. We do not drink milk. You do not drink milk. They do not drink milk. واحد بدل ملعب. لكن they then هدي دي بنتوي على singular كده أن راديو. She, he, it. محن قناة. I in negative form. I can add I plus do not plus main verb. So this is the main verb. Drink milk. We do not drink milk. You do not drink milk. They do not drink milk. لكن they هذا عندنا نجيبيه she, he, it انكسر. Do محن قناة does. She does not drink milk. He does not drink milk. It does not drink milk. He does not drink milk. It the cat does not drink milk. It does not drink milk. So he, she, it does not plus the main. They take plus the main verb. Okay. Here now in the sentence, the word do and does are known as the helping verbs. Okay. They are what? Helping verbs or auxiliary verbs. So she does not drink milk. Okay. So انت marka waxaad arkaysaa inuu ereyga drinks s qaadanin. It is not going to take s. So we remove s. She does not drink milk. So she does not drink milk. So in third person singular, no s on the main verb. So third person singular markuu yahay main verb ka s ma qaadanayo. Okay. So in the shortened form, so I do not waxaa laga sameeyay as a contraction. Waa la soo gaabiyay contraction. So waxay dhaheen I don't drink milk. I don't drink milk. They don't go to the lake. So in the contraction form, do not becomes don't. She does not drink milk. She doesn't drink milk. Jack doesn't like dogs. So does not doesn't. Let's practice. Smile, not. Smile, not. This child dash, use the contraction form. So this child, Helena, he or she. He does not, or he does, she does not. So use the contraction. Here the rule ama rule meshan inaad isticmaasho loo baahan yahay the contraction form. Contraction haddaan ka saaro oo full aan qoro, this child does not smile and lahaa. Like haddii contraction lagu soo yiri, obvious you have to use a contraction. You say the child or this child doesn't smile. Okay, here we have another sentence. We dash snakes. So you have like and not. So we don't like snakes. Magda dash Dutch. Use the contraction form. Magda doesn't speak Dutch. Magda doesn't speak Dutch. Sometimes I dash. So here we have the answer in yellow, and here we have the answer in. Then sometimes I dash my cat, my husband dash her. Sometimes I don't feed. I don't feed my cat, my husband. My husband feeds her. Sometimes I don't feed my cat, my husband feeds her. So sometimes I don't feed my cat, my husband feeds her. So here we have he feeds her. She dash fast at the gym. She gets tired. She doesn't run fast at the gym. She doesn't run fast at the gym. She gets tired. They are good cooks. They don't need help. They don't need help. Now in the simple present, yes and no questions. Let us see the simple present using yes and no questions. Does he exercise? So haddaba she does, he does, it does dandayne. Whenever you want to start to make a question in a sentence, you start with what you call what? The verb, whether it's auxiliary or another verb. So here do and does, we are going to take it as a subject, as the verb. Then followed by a subject and then followed by a main verb. Do I like salads? So if you want to make a question mark here, you start with what you call what? The auxiliary verb before you go to the main verb, but don't forget the subject. So the question form in the simple present, you write do, add I plus a main verb in simple form. Okay, do you like salads? Yes, I do, or yes, I don't. Do we like salads? Do they like salads? Does she like salads? Does he like salads? Does it look good? Okay. Now I think we are going to understand. Are you a student? Adiga, are you a student? So, do you be a student? Because the main verb equals to a form of be. Okay? So the main verb in a form of be. Okay, let's now formulate the questions and answer that we talked about. You either have yes or no question. Yes is a short question and we will have also a short answer. And yes, this is a short answer. Do you like ice cream? Yes, I do. Or no, I don't. So if I say yes, I do, معناها ها waan jeclahay. لكن no haddaan dhaha I don't negative ay imaanaya meeshas not waa inay soo gashaa qasab waa. Does Max like ice cream? Yes, he does. No, he does not. Okay, let's practice. Here we will have a question, we will have an answer from a short answer from the long answer. I like to ride a horse. I like to ride a horse. سؤالا كسمينا marka. Let's formulate a question. So waxaan leenahay, do you like to ride horses? Do you like to ride horses? So I'll answer automatically with a short answer and say, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I like to ride horses. Okay, here we have a question. We have a short answer, but we are given a long answer. How are we going to formulate? They have a baby. So I say, do they have a baby? Yes, they do. They have a baby. Gerardo teach maths. Does Gerardo teach maths? Yes, he does. Gerardo teaches maths. Do cows bark? No, they don't. Cows don't bark. No, they don't. Cows don't bark. Okay. Let's see the simple present where we are asking a question with where we are asking an information. أنا raadinayna macluumaad dheeri ah. Looking for an information using a place where. Okay, for example, where do they live? Xagee ku nool yihiin? Wanaishi wapi? Do they live in Baltimore? So here I can say where to formulate a question, or inaan su'aal ku keeno anigoo isticmaalayo where using place, or do using an auxiliary verb. Okay, here we have a question and we have a short answer. Do they live in Baltimore? I can say yes, they do, or no, they don't. Jawaabta qasaba mar walba inay noqoto ha oo keliya ama no oo keliya, laakiin labadaba mar mid ba soo baxayso. Where do they live? So when I say where do they live and where ka bilaabo, do haddaan ka bilaabo, waxaan rajaynayaa jawaabta inay noqon doonto ha ama maya. Laakiin haddaan ka bilaabo where is called WH question. A question being formulated by a word starting from WH, whether who, where, whom, why, what. Always jawaabta ay qaadanaan yes iyo no midna maha, laakiin waa a direct answer. Where do they live? In Baltimore. I can say in Baltimore, or I can say they live in Baltimore. Does Alexei lives in Moscow? So if I say does, I'll always say yes or no. Yes, he does, or no, he doesn't. Like I can ask you a question. Where does he live? Where does he live? In Cape Town, or he lives in Cape Town. Okay, let's understand now. You have to be very keen. Isku day inaad aad ugu taxdirto meeshaan. Si fiican u fiiri. Here meeshaan waxaan haystaa where. Meeshaan waan ku daahi doonaa. Yani in muddo aan dul taagnaanayo. For you to understand, I'll keep a lot of time here for you to understand. So where? Plus does, do or does. So I will start with and say does. Does he? Let me add a subject. Does she? Does he? So what will I say? Does he? But if I say do, I'll say do they? Do they live? So I'll add the main verb. So let's start. Where? I'll add do or does. So our main target is what? WH, where. So focus on this. Let's focus on where. We add a helping verb or an auxiliary verb. We say where plus do or does plus a subject plus a main verb. So here we are going to add a main verb. So we say where do they, I'll add what? Where do they? I want the main verb now. The main verb is what? Live. Where do they live? Where do they live? Okay. Where does he live? So I use do. Where do they live? They and he. So check it very well. When I say where do, always expect a plural here. Where do they live? But if I say where does, always expect a singular. Let's answer these questions so now you understand. Here I'll say I will formulate the question and here I have the answer. The answer is yes, he does. The child has a toothbrush. So the child now, I'll say, does the child have a toothbrush? Yes, he does. So mar hadda yes noqoto, I should do or does. Ay ka bilaabanaysaa. Does the child have a toothbrush? Yes, he does. But here, yes, min mahlakin we're in the bathroom. He brushes his teeth in the bathroom. So I say the child brushes his teeth in the bathroom. So what will the question be? Where? Where does he brush his teeth? Where does he brush his teeth? Here we have an answer, yes, she does. So you expect either do or does. But here we have she. We say does Lucy like to read in the library? Lucy likes to read at the library. Does Lucy likes to read at the library? Yes, she does. Lucy likes to read at the library. So for now, we are going to stop there. Until next time, I'll urge you to subscribe to the channel and follow, you like, share and comment as you follow our lessons as they come. So waxaan ka codsanayaa haddii cashirka aad ka heshay fadlan like, subscribe, saar channelka adigana si aad wax uga fahanto annagana ay noogu noqoto dhiirigelin. Asalaamu calaykum waraxmatullaahi wabarakaatu.